I hate this. I can't. I try to avoid saying the one word I cannot say, and I did. This is the third recording I have done. It's 12 o'clock in the morning, and I started at 11 o'clock. All because I'm trying not to say one word, knowing I can say it once every 30 minutes. But it's heavy. I don't know how that word is heavy, and it's just like I can. I want to argue that because of the fact that it's only heavy if you put it in the wrong context, and it's not even in the wrong context half the time. It's just like it's just depends on how you say the word. That's how I can say it, and that's all I want to say. Like if I could argue something, it would be that. I understand like it can be a heavy word, but like oh, I missed it. Anyway, yeah, that's another moth. I don't know how they're getting in, but I'm probably not gonna figure it out anyway. But yeah, I can't say one word and I slip up and say it, and it could be I could argue it, but there's no point because it's just me versus a whole corporation that makes tons of money that's paying me, so there's no point. And by the way, oh yeah, monetize, and it's the funniest thing ever. I've never seen so many people ask me how much I make. It's just I say, oh yeah, I'm monetized. That's cool. How much you make? Well, I don't know. It's getting annoying. It's not even annoying. It's just funny every time that happens. But yeah, new what if this is what if Naruto was the grandson of Tsunade. I'm doing the same thing 3 times, and it's honestly irritating. Not even irritating. It's just I need to learn how to stop cursing so much. And I know people are saying like, but it won't be as funny. Well, woohoo, I'm fudging trying. Oh, someone just did burn out in the game, but uh, Naruto from I'm gonna say was day he was born. What's the name? Kushina and Minato died. By the way, Minato is the son of. No, he can't. I mean, he can and can't be because it would make no sense. I'm gonna say he isn't, but I'm gonna say Kushina is related to Tsunade in some way. I don't know how because it can't be a daughter. I mean, it can. Never mind. I'm gonna just make no because Kushina was full fudging Uzumaki. No, I know how to do this. Tsunade had a one was drunk, was gambling a lot, and had a one night stand with a Namikaze member. There we go. Bam, I'm not doing that no more. No, but then, ooh, this is irritating. The more I think about it, it is easier to just do Minato as the father is like the son of them two, and it's so easy. So I'm gonna do it because if I do a whole thing, I feel like I have to make a whole chart for my audience who watches this and be like, this is here, this is there, and yeah. So that's the answer. Minato is the son of Tsunade and Jiraiya that currently aren't together for reasons. I'd say mostly it's just reasons. So Naruto, like this is at the age of 4, so I can get like because it made no sense for Tsunade to have the fear of blood. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad she does. So I'm gonna just like soon. So Naruto will be running and playing around by himself because she's still in the land of rice patties, not in the leaf, and he'd slip and he wouldn't bust his head to the white meat, but he'd slip and his head would be bleeding. Now, with his head bleeding, Tsunade, sat the fear of blood. So she gets scared of it, and she'd realize that if she doesn't do something, he'll end up being, he'll probably get infected or sick. But if she, but she has to do something, so she musters up her courage and gets over the fear of blood by healing Naruto. And Naruto would see like the healing as cool because that's the first jutsu he's seen from his grandmother. So he'd ask Tsunade like, "How'd you do that? That's so cool." And she'd explain like she's a medical ninja, and he'd listen to her whole explanation on medical ninjutsu. And over the years, I'd say like he'd practice it because of Tsunade, and Tsunade would constantly say over the years, males shouldn't be like medical ninja, but Naruto didn't care because that's his aunt. I mean, not aunt, grandma. So he'd practice it, and that's how he learned chakra control. Because I would tell him like you need the right amount of chakra for it. If you have a little bit more, you overheal. You have a little bit less, you underheal, which is not a good thing. Both are two non good things. I think I'm not sure. Overhealing sounds like too much. Healing could be bad. I mean, which is true. If you overheal someone, it could reset something, which is not good. So, so over the years, he'd learn it, and we'd reach the age of like 11, and Tsunade would elect to go back to a leaf. So he doesn't have a nin because Naruto still wanted to be a ninja, so he wouldn't be a ninja for the land of rice paddies. Yeah, that doesn't sound good now, does it? Anyway, the son of the great Princess Tsunade and the Dryad the Galleon, like being what's his name? What's his name? Being a ninja for the land of rice paddies. That doesn't sound too good and exhilarating. So she elects to go back to the Leaf with Naruto, and so they pack up their bags, sell the home. No, they keep the home, but they just don't really like gonna be there that often. They're gonna go there sometimes, but not often. But if only they knew. So they move back, and the first thing that happens is how Hiruzen welcomes like Tsunade back and everything, and the first thing he asks is, "So you gonna take the Hokage seat from me?" Tsunade, no. Hiruzen, Hiruzen like, "Ha, but you might as well while you can." Like, you will one day. It's either you or Jiraiya. And then Tsunade would be like, "But what about the Uchiha?" Hiruzen would be like, "Shh, that's a sensitive topic right now." And she'd get the news from a Jonin, and she'd be like, "Oh." And yeah, I'm gonna say they spent the whole day like because they got their house already because Hiruzen hooked them up with a house, so they'd start moving their stuff, and they got the house. So now I signed Naruto up for the Ninja Academy, which she'll be in the next day, and yeah, nothing much will happen. Dinner, a little bit of training. Shania explaining that I can't like the Ninja Academy. Like I don't want you to just instantly pass. That makes like it would be cool for stories, but no. So enjoy your time there. Don't just rush and just become a ninja because you'll be alone and you'll be without a squad, which is true. Because if like you seen Itachi do it, he didn't have a. I mean, he had a squad, but it wasn't until later. Kakashi was the same. So so he go into the academy and you get emo Sasuke, a long haired Hinata that's still like to herself, but even more to herself now because Naruto wasn't there to like give her preferences, everything, and try to encourage her. So she'd still have the dilemma of all that. And Choji, cool. Uh, Choji's cool, Shikamaru's cool, and basically everyone's the same besides Hinata. And Sasuke at this moment, like, really, like, hates everyone at this moment. So yeah, that's how it is. I'm still on Discord. Why the heck is it going off? So he, how do I say this? He'd introduce himself as Naruto. What's his name? He wouldn't say Naruto Uzumaki. He'd say Naruto Senju, and that's when Sasuke would pop up and be like, "What?" And everyone in class would be like, "Huh? I thought there was only one Senju left." And he's like, I'm I'm the grandson of Grandma Tsunade and Jiraiya the Galleon." And people would, like, most people in the class would be amazed at that, and you know, people would think, "Oh yeah, he's gonna become Shawn Michaels." No, he isn't. Tsunade would not let that happen. Freaky deaky. So he'd be, grandson of so he'd sit down and he'd be like, in the seating canon, and people would think like, "Oh, this guy ain't gonna be cool" and all that, but Naruto's pretty chill. He knows medical ninjutsu. That's true. And so he knows medical ninjutsu, and he has pretty good chakra control. Yes, he still has the nine tails. Forgot about that. But he knows he has the nine tails. But he doesn't say anything to it because he doesn't know that he can, talk to it. Because the nine tails is like, "I'm another kid. I don't care. I legit do not care. As long as he isn't gonna die, I'm fine." So, I'd say about the time for the exams, I'd say like Naruto would pass with ease. Let's be honest. Sasuke would pass, and I'd say Mizuki, instead of coming to Naruto, would come to a kid that was failing the class miserably, and get him that the offer of because Naruto would overhear this. Naruto would get the offer of I mean, not Naruto. Mizuki would offer that random kid like, "Hey, there's this test, and like there's another way to get around the test. You have to steal the scroll of sealing." And Naruto, from Tsunade's words, would know that that's a scroll that belonged to Hashirama and Tobirama. That is powerful illegal jutsu. So he would wait, and because he knew where he was gonna go. So the scroll be stolen, and Tsunade be asleep, Tsunade be asleep, and he sneak out to the spot to stop like him from doing anything weird with it. So when the random person who probably will be mentioned ever again, because yeah, so he gets to the spot and opens up the scroll because he got bored, and Naruto would glance over to see Shadow Clone Ninjutsu and some water moves before like he stops him and tells him like no and rolls up the scroll. But it's alright to like as Mizuki throws a shuriken, and yeah, well that kid is well, let's just say he kinda, how do you say this? He's kinda seeing red. And yeah. So that happens, and Naruto puts the scroll in his back, and mind you, because the kid is unknown, I'm not even gonna try it. So the kid passes away sadly, and Mizuki like, "Give me the scroll, brat. Like, send you, brat. You aren't as good as like, I mean, you aren't as scary as Tsunade or any of them." And mind you, Ruka pulls up still and punches Mitsuki in the back of the head, sending him into the ground. Not into the ground, but you know how he was on top of the tree. Iruka punches him in his head, and Mitsuki would face would smack into the ground, and Mitsuki would be stunned long enough for Naruto to run up and give him like, how Randy Orton used to do the punt kick as a finisher. Yeah, he does that, but actually lands it, knocking Mitsuki out. This in turn would, because Naruto already was a ninja at that point. This in turn would happen. Iruka would tell Naruto, "Thank you for the assistance, even though it wasn't needed." Naruto would give Naruto would give Iruka the scroll, saying that I stopped, I couldn't save yada yada, but at least I got the scroll. And Ambu members will show these are root Ambu, not these are Hiruzen's Ambu, not Danzo's. And they get the scroll off Ruka's hands and body flicker away. Then Ruka would walks Naruto out of the what's the name the the forest, and yeah, that's and get Naruto some ramen. His mom will wake up because of hearing the alerts that the scroll was stealing and be running by to Hiruzen's office to see if the scroll is back, and she'd run by Naruto and Naruka having ramen. I know what I said. Run by Iruka's office. Run by Hiruzen's office. But and she'd punch Naruto in the head. She's like, "You're supposed to be in bed." He's like, "Ow, ow, ow! I stopped the scroll from being stolen. Okay, grandma's back." And she'd be like, "Oh, okay then." Like, okay, then you're a ninja now anyway. And yeah, so Clash over the next day, and teams were chosen, and surprisingly enough, it wouldn't be Naruto. What's the name? It wouldn't. It teams wouldn't be fucking. No, actually, it's fine. I just can't say it too much. I just hope it is at least. The teams would be it would be because it's usually a top scoring student, top scoring what's the name? Top scoring student, top scoring male, female, and lowest scoring male on the same team. But because Naruto isn't dumb in this, I'd have to switch the teams up because it wouldn't make sense for Sasuke and Naruto to be on the same team. So I'd say instead he'd. I feel like he definitely is higher than like. I'm gonna say in this one, Hinata scores higher than Sakura. So Naruto, Hinata, and what's the name? Because Shika Cho was always gonna be there. I feel like Kiba would score the lowest. Kiba would score the lowest then. So it'd be Naruto, Kiba, and Hinata. So they'd meet Kurenai. No, fudge. No, I'm gonna just keep base team 7 because as much as I want to try and shake it up, I can't really shake it up because it'll make no sense. So the team will be obviously Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And what do you freaking do? Sakura does not learn healing jutsu. She can, but she's gonna go more into her crafts, which is genjutsu, which she completely forgot about. Like, how you were good at genjutsu, you just do it all the way. Give me a second. I'm switching my sound pad. So it'll be the day the teams meet, and Kakashi would, be the last teacher to show up. And instead of finding Naruto planted a prank and the eraser dropped on his head, Naruto, Naruto and them, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura instead were sitting there while Sakura's trying to, get Sasuke to notice her. Naruto's just sitting there calmly, just, reading his scroll. And because this is the scroll his mom gave him about, probably medical ninjutsu and chakra control. Because she didn't teach him that diamond one yet. She's teaching him he's above the basics, so he's in the advanced more. So Kakashi will walk in and see that It's Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And instead of saying like, okay, as for this team, I hate all of you, he's thinking like, huh, this is an interesting group of kids I got this year. Like the last person of the Uchiha that's not a wanted criminal. Um, the grandson of Jiraiya in Tsunade and and the son of my teacher, and then some nobody from a nobody clan. So yeah, he asked for their he'd take them outside, ask them about their dreams and ambitions. Naruto would say, "I want to be like the best known male healer around." To which Kakashi would be surprised, but it's not obvious because of the mask. He'd be like, "Huh, that's actually a new one. I actually never heard of that one." Sakura would be would basically same thing as canon. Sake same thing as canon. Naruto wouldn't see much about it. Actually, and the funny thing is, Naruto does not hate Sasuke. You think the Senju and Uchiha would hate each other? Sasuke doesn't like him because of Senju and hurt the history. Naruto really doesn't care because he just doesn't. So he'd be sitting there and not even relaxing. He's just sitting there. And, they go to take the bell test. Now he brings them out to a field about I say about three. No, matter of fact, never mind. I'm gonna scratch that, and he dismissed them. Now, what's the name? He would like he'd go home and tell Tsunade who his captain is, and she'd be like, ah, he was in your father's he was in your father's getting group, and she'd say Kakashi Hatake, son of the guy the White Flash. No, wasn't what was it? The White Fang? Yeah, it was the White Fang. I think it was, or Silver Fang, whatever. I don't know. I forget. But he was close to becoming. His father was close to being a signing, but what couldn't make it there because of some unfortunate events. But yeah, and she teach him more medical and chakra control. And on Naruto's spare time, he practiced water ninjutsu. And before anyone asks, he's proficient in all chakra nature. I mean, not proficient. He's damn. Uh, he has a what is it called? He has an affinity for the chakra natures, but he doesn't have them. Yeah, that's what to say it. So he'd be teasing himself water style, which is pretty hard considering that the land of fire was he known for fire. So he had to be at the river most of the time, at the training grounds. So I'd say about a day before, I'd say someone would catch Naruto training water, and he'd make a water ball and shoot it out a rock, and he'd be like, okay, so I'm getting better at this, though it's gonna take a while. And he keeps practicing, repetition, and it's it's a okay sized water ball, and he gets that, and he heads home because it's sundown. So as walking home, he's exhausted, and he wouldn't bump into anyone because that'll be pure coincidence, and no, we don't do coincidence around here. You heard, but yeah, we'll do coincidences. It's just I'm not about to push a coincidence. So yeah. So he would run into someone. No, he wouldn't run into anyone. He'd go home and shower, brush teeth, and sleep. To wake up the next day, listen to what I mean, listened to what like Kakashi said. Don't eat anything in the morning. So he had a big dinner, just so I can carry over to the next day. So they wait at the spot to where they're told to meet, and he's taking forever. But they're at the training ground, so Naruto says, like, until teacher gets here, I'm gonna practice. And Sasuke was like, practice? And I mean, no, it wouldn't be Sasuke who wouldn't say practice. He'd be like, hmm. And Sakura would be like, practice? Practice what? And he'd be like, ninjutsu. And he'd go over to the river and practice a little bit. Until, I'd say, Kakashi shows up like an hour later. And he is explaining the rules to the bell test. Well, someone just, that wasn't fireworks, I know that much. So he explains the Alright, so after explaining the rules to the bell test, because I had to, take a little break because I was about to get off topic. Uh, they get started, and he tell them to hide, and Kakashi is like, okay, so they're proficient enough at doing that, and he take out his book. Now, in this meantime, Naruto would sneak over to Sakura, and them two would sneak over to Sasuke, and they start forming a plan. And Naruto says, like to Sasuke, "Hey, so are you good with fire style?" And he's like, "Yeah, what about it?" And he says, "Well, I got an idea. You shoot a fireball at Kakashi, and he'll more than likely dodge. Correct? Dodge. So what if I shoot a water ball? It when he jumps up or moves out the way, causing steam, and be the perfect instance for us to move in." And they're thinking like, okay, that's a good idea. And that plan would initiate. So Sasuke would do the hand signs and do a fireball. Kakashi would look at it and jump above it to where Naruto would shoot a water ball causing steam. In that moment, Naruto would pop shadow clones. Sasuke would do Sasuke would do clone jutsu, which isn't as good as shadow clone jutsu, and Sakura would set a trap. So, like the clones would rush in at Kakashi when he lands in the smoke. And Kakashi is not a slouch to smoke screens, so he's just knocking out the clones and and like all that until he's hit with like a water ninjutsu and pushed over to the side a little, and he's like, "That's a nice trick." And he put his book away and be like, "Okay, that's a nice trick." And he step on what's the name? What's it called? A trap that would send him falling into a pit, to which he just chakra stick his feet to the. He basically like chakra control his feet to the walls of the hole, and he'd be like, "Okay, these kids are actually not bad." And Naruto already would run over and shoot another water in do water style, and he like breathe in, and he says water cannon, and he shoot water into the hole to stop Kakashi from moving along the walls and causing mud to make it very hard to, but it wouldn't work because Kakashi already just run up, and before Naruto would get hit, Sasuke would try to go for a hit on Kakashi, like going for a kick. So he lost Kakashi's. So Kakashi wouldn't, instead of like uppercutting Naruto, like he'd stop that and catch Sasuke kick, and Naruto would come over for a punch. And mind you, this is a chakra infused punch because Tsunade taught him. So Kakashi got to catch it, and when he catches it, his hand cracks from the chakra, and he realizes he was like, "Oh, this is a chakra punch," and his arm was like, and after he caught that punch, his hand was like blown back a bit and opening up Sasuke to spin and like a and like grab a bell. And Sasuke, as soon as Sasuke did that, Kakashi would spin to try like stop the other bell from getting grabbed, and Naruto would grab the other bell, and that ends the bell test. In Kakashi, which in canon would have failed them for not working together, but is actually surprised that Uchiha and Senju were working that well together, and he congratulates them and says, "Actually, this is the first team that he allowed to pass. All the other teams will be sent back to the will be sent back to the academy for another year." And like happy and everything's good. And I'm gonna say, uh, hmm, yeah, I'm. Yeah, after that they go home, and I'm gonna end this one here. I like the I feel like it's going a good way. I gotta remember this though. So if you enjoyed, knock it like yeah, just hit the like button. That's if you want to though. I'm not about to force you. I'm not about to just like go into your house at 3 in the morning, steal your cookies, and tell you to tell you to sup. But I will tell you this much: I will steal your cookies if you aren't nice. Nah, I'm not joking. I'm not stealing anyone's cookies. I'm not trying to get that. I'm not trying to eat so many cookies. I will steal your food though. Anyway, signing out.